Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. I'm thrilled that we have Eric here with us, all the way from US, and he's into golf coaching and some amazing things that he's actually working on in terms of the social media and stuff. So, Eric, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, Tony, thanks for having me, man. My name's Eric Cogorno. I've been a professional golf coach now for 16 years or so, which is wild to think about how fast that flew by. And been coaching golf for a long time, and spent a lot of my first decade trying to get great at my coaching craft, and spent the last 6 or 7 years, trying to build a business online and help as many people as possible. And excited to share some insights here today.
Great stuff. Yeah. So what inspired you to actually go into and become a golf coach?
Yeah, so when I was younger playing sports, Tony, I was always pretty good at sports and good with eye-hand coordination stuff. Not like a run fast, jump high kind of guy, but pretty good with like a ping pong paddle in my hand or darts and things like that. And so I took up golf in the first place because my dad played when I was younger. And he was a pretty good player, and he would go play on the weekends with his friends all the time. And I looked up to my dad when he was younger, and I wanted to just hang out with him and his buddies, on the weekend. And so golf was the first thing that it wasn't really easy for me right away, right? Like any other sport I picked up, I kind of was good at right away. Golf was so darn hard. And I think the fact that it was that difficult really led me to get obsessed with it. And so, my first 5 to 10 years from kind of middle school through high school and college, I was all in on trying to be a great golfer, right? A great player. And then it didn't take me long. I know you work with some really high level people. You see how good the pros are. It didn't take me long to realize that, like, hey, I'm not quite at that level. Not quite being nice to myself. I'm pretty far away from that level of being able to go play pro on TV. And once that dream sort of died, Tony, I was trying to find myself and what I wanted to do next. And a bunch of things came together at the same time, which led me to, I worked at a golf course when I was growing up for minimum wage. I used to pick the golf balls on the range. If anyone listening knows that, the guy you hit the balls out. And I was picking balls one day, and honestly, what happened, I had no ambitions of being a pro or anything in terms of teaching. I was picking balls, Tony, making like $8 an hour, $7, $8 an hour. And the one day I was out picking balls in the range, it was like a hot August day, bumpy out there. I wasn't thrilled to be out there picking balls. There was a guy underneath one of the buildings who was giving a golf lesson, giving a lesson to an older gentleman. And I'm out here picking balls in the bumpy range. It's hot. I'm not pumped to be there. And he was underneath the shaded area, kind of laughing it up with this guy. It looked, pretty easy. And when I pulled the card in, after I picked the range, he made an offhand comment that he just made $50. Like he'd made $50 doing a 30-minute lesson. And obviously, it didn't take me long to do some quick math. Hey, I'm making $7 an hour. I've got to work all day to make $50. He just did that in 30 minutes. And so I asked him that day, hey, what would it take for me to, start teaching? And I actually gave my first lesson, about a week later, and that became my first mentor, my friend Paul. So I kind of backdoored my way into my coaching career.
Yeah, wonderful. And so you also, when we were in the green room, you were mentioning how, you actually made some successes now, and you're also looking forward to help others as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do now and what's your sort of goal for your business going forward?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think, life has seasons, certainly, Tony, and you have different arcs of things. And my first period of time I spent getting great at playing the game, and then I tried to spend about a decade getting great at coaching. And once I got pretty good at coaching, that's when we started our YouTube channel and sharing things online. And I spent now the past 9 years or so trying to get great at building an online business and this dream life and having financial freedom and those sort of things. And so just like when I felt like I was good enough at coaching to start sharing things online with YouTube and making videos and helping golfers, I feel like I've gotten good enough now at building this online brand and business that I'm ready to start sharing that with other people as well. So we started another YouTube channel. It's called Lessons I've Learned with Eric Cogorno. It's a working title, but it's about videos like this of things that I've learned and growing personal brands and personal development and things along those lines. And then we just launched this past year our first coaching mentorship group where we're basically helping other coaches build their businesses. And the way I see it going, Tony, I mean, you discover things along the way. Obviously, we'll see where the path leads, but I think I'd like to help golf coaches first, and then help any coaches in general, and then just anyone who wants to build a personal brand and create some more financial freedom and really improve their lives is the goal for the next hopefully 50, 60 years or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, like obviously this podcast is called Open Book Entrepreneur, and we're looking into all the good things that are happening in the business and life, and then all the sort of struggles as well. That's something that is not really mentioned that much on most of the podcasts that I've been listening to. So can you share with us, like, how do you deal with, like, what keeps you motivated to keep going, obviously, in your business and stuff? And how do you deal with situations when things are not going your way in the business?
Yeah, love that, Tony. I think there's at the most core basic level, I think what really changed for me and the ability to work through bad times and continue working forward was when I got really clear on what I wanted my dream life vision to look like. So like my life really shifted, Tony, when I was like 27, 20. I'm 36 now. I'd say when I was 27, 20 years old, I'm going to tell a little story and then I'll come back to that question there. I was coaching golf, spent that decade trying to get great at my craft of being a great coach. And I was like 27, Tony, and I felt burnt out. I kind of was doing what I had done, what I wanted to do. I built up this little in-person coaching business and um, but I was just burnt out, man. It was another weekend where I was standing on the range. I'll never forget. It was a Saturday afternoon. And I don't know if you felt this or other people who work with clients, but I was on my like eighth client of the day, out in the sun all day. And I was just kind of going through the motions, and I quickly realized like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this forever. Like I need to make a little pivot and a shift here. And so depending upon what you believe upon, God, universe, et cetera, a couple things happened for me all during the same time when I felt burnt out. And the short version is my friend sent me a video from a guy named Tony Robbins. And I had never heard of Tony Robbins, didn't know anything about him. And I clicked on a video that he sent me. I was a Friday night. I was like going out ready to doing my hair in the bathroom. And I remember clicking the video and watching. It didn't do anything for me. But right next to that was a video by a guy named Jim Rohn. And for whatever reason, I clicked on that video and it was called The Day That Turns Your Life Around. It was a 2-hour video from Jim Rohn. And it's the first time I got introduced to personal development. Well, when I watched Jim Rohn, man, you know how certain people you listen to, and just like, man, everything he said just like hit me right in the heart. It just was so like logical and like I was just in the right place to hear it all. And after I watched that first video, Tony, right underneath that was a goal setting workshop. And again, I felt enough pain, I guess, in the moment, right, being burnt out. I was like, hey, let me click this thing and watch this. And I did this goal setting workshop. Now I was 27. I had done well in school. I went to college. I did all these things. I never did a goal setting workshop. Never knew about setting goals. I kind of had like a rough idea of what I wanted to do, but I never had real clarity and like specific, hey, what would your life look like in the future if you could create whatever you wanted? So I never done that before. And so once I finally did that exercise, and I did it over and over, and I still do it now, and I spend time every day thinking about and visualizing that dream life that I set, that intention. That's a long answer to say once I got that dream life and vision, and I have that North Star up here, that's the thing I think has made the difference in pulling me through the difficulties along the way. Whereas before I had that clarity and specificity of what I wanted and what I wanted my dream life to look like what am I trying to do here? I would get a bump in the road, Tony, and like if there was like an issue, I wouldn't plow through the issue. I would run the other way. I could quit on anything right before this. And I think looking back now, it's because didn't have a strong, like clear idea of where I wanted to go and a strong connection to it. And once I've been doing that dream life vision, that's the real answer to your question, is that for me. I think I've got loads of little tactics along the way to go along with that. But the real answer is like, if I've got a really clear thing of what I want 20 years from now, something that happens in one day or one week or one month along that 20-year game is like so small, it doesn't matter. And so I think that perspective of the long term and the clarity and connection to it has been the real needle mover. Long answer there, but I think that lays a little foundation.
Very powerful answer, yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, like, can you share with us, please, what excites you about your business?
Yeah, I think it's to the point of things being more difficult, like you had mentioned before, how you get through it. Everything I've ever thought of that I wanted to do has taken longer than I thought, has been harder than I thought. Like nothing has been easy for us along the way. It's been all difficult. But the flip side of that, of what's exciting, is like there's so much more I think that we can do and so much more in terms of growth we can do. I've done most of what I want to do, Tony, in terms of the golf coaching business Like those goals that I set 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, we've ticked off. And then you move the goalpost, right? Like, hey, what are the new things we want to be able to grow towards? And so I'm excited to see where we go with personal development. Like, I think if you and I did another podcast 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 7 years from now, my life's going to look a lot different than it does now. And that's exciting, right? Like, I don't think I'm going to get 50 years of the same days that I have now. I think there'll be lots of growth. I'm excited. I think for that. And I think that's what is exciting, right? Like if I said to you or you said to me or someone else, hey, your next 20 years, you're going to be about the same. And
Hmm.
your day's going to be about the same, and you're going to help the same amount of people, and you're going to be the same. That's not great, right? Like that doesn't get you jacked up and excited. But if you think, hey, man, what if I keep growing at the trajectory I'm growing? Like, what could I be doing in like 3, 5, 7, 20 years? Who could I meet? Like, what sort of impact could I have? And so I think the unseen growth or potential in the future is the thing that's exciting about business and personally.
Wonderful. And on top of that, like, what's one major tip that you would like to share with other business owners watching this show?
So the tip for, and because for me it's totally changed my life would be like if you're not, and I think most people are, but like if you're not prioritizing growing a personal brand for you or your business in this day and age, I think that should move to the top of the board if you're looking to have an increase in your business and a better life moving forward. For me, prior to growing our social medias, like I built an in-person coaching business. I was making like 80 grand a year. I was spending like 40. I didn't really need anything. It was totally fine. But for me, right, to be able to build a business like that, to go from 80 grand a year to let's say 1.5 million a year was all social media, all growth of audience. And so I think if someone's listening and they want exponential growth in the areas, from financial perspective or freedom of lifestyle or impact, um, it's all about the growth of the audience. Like at the end of the day, that's like our core number one thing for what we do is like we need to get more people to know who we are in our industry and then have more potential, customers. Obviously, give them tremendous value and then figure out ways to be able to monetize them and help them even more beyond that. But social media and increasing our audience through like organic content has 10x my income, has 10x my freedom of life, et cetera, et cetera. And so that would be the thing that I would urge people to do as probably number one. And then maybe 1A or B would be, I mentioned that dream life vision and that goal setting workshop. Again, just because it works so well for me and maybe it will for you as well. Like I only have done what I was able to do in the past 5 to 10 years because I got clear on that end goal dream vision in the first place, meaning the figuring out where I wanted to go dictated the steps I needed to take along the way. So when I did my, just a real quick one, when I did my dream life vision, I was making 80 grand a year at that point. I wanted to have complete financial freedom by the time I was 40, right? So I had to have like certain amount of money invested. For me to hit those numbers along the way, I needed to start making 1.2 million a year. So I was making 80 and my goal said I had to start making 1.2 million. Now, 1.2 million when I'm making 80 might as well have been like a billion. Like that was so far beyond what I even, thought was possible. But for me to get the goal that I thought I wanted and that I was attached to, that's what it took. And then that was the first time that it opened my mind to the possibility of even making 1.2. And I'm like, okay, does anyone make 1.2 million? Yes. Okay. Does anyone who does what I do make 1.2 million? Yes. Okay. Like, what do they do to make that? And it was very clear that what they were doing and what I was doing were a lot different, right? Like they were doing events and golf schools. I was doing one-on-one coaching. So point being, because I got clear on that vision, I figured out what I needed to do. I found people to model, already walked the path. It dictated what I needed to do to get there. So my actions changed as a byproduct of that dream life vision. So that would be like one thing I'd say to people who are doing run business. And then right underneath that would be like growth of audience needs to remain priority number one.
Wow, such a powerful advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. And if anyone watching us wants to actually find out a little bit more about what you do and connect to you in any way, like how they can do that.
Yeah, I would love for you to go to the lessons I've learned with Eric Cogorno on YouTube. That's more videos on this sort of stuff. And then if you want to see the golf videos, to see the actual tactics we do, that's Eric Cogorno Golf on YouTube.
Wonderful. Yeah, I can share this in the description of this episode as well Thank you very much for being an amazing guest. Thank you for sharing these wonderful tips as well with our audience. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like and subscribe and share it with your friends and family. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.